Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the We Don't Wanna podcast. This is the show where two certified dipshits make uncertified takes about your favorite series. We are your hosts. I am Zach, and joining me, as always, he is the newly appointed master of grammar. It is Scotty Westside.
Hell yeah! Shouts to my boy Davos and shouts to the grammar joke. Getting
yeah.
one last rep right in there at the end. That's a good intro. I like that one. Hell yeah.
You are kind of a grammar Nazi also anyway.
Am I?
So
you think?
Well, maybe not specifically about grammar things, but you've got that energy. You're just a prude.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. I feel like of any of us, I probably accidentally misspeak the most. Like our friends.
No, that's Chaz.
You don't think so? No, Chaz says what he means. He just says dumb things.
Doesn't know what he means?
Yeah, he doesn't know what he means. I stumble over my words and just say random things a lot. Like my mouth can't keep up with my mind sometimes.
Your mouth is good in other ways.
Yeah, okay, true. How are you doing this week, pal?
Dude, I'm doing good. I'm feeling a little
wistful
some way about this.
Yeah. This is
an important episode.
This is a slightly important episode, but not I was going to say this is the final episode of Game of Thrones, but that's true of the series, but it won't be our final episode of Game of Thrones. So that's some solace to take, I suppose.
That's some quantum of solace to take. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't watch any James Bond movies and you pull out a quantum of solace reference. That's so weird.
Moving on. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I've had a good week. Actually, the last week and a half has been fucking great. It's been easy at work, which has been a really nice change of pace. And I finally finished a book I started in the fucking springtime, which it took me long enough.
Middle school, I think, is more what you're saying. You finished a book you started in middle school.
I have finally finished Stormlight Archives book 1, The Way of Kings, and I loved the shit out of it. It's been a good week, man. Everything's going good. How are you?
I am also very good. It's been a good week for me. Very busy week at work. But that's good. Staying busy keeps me less bored. And it was Black Friday, so yes.
Yeah, it must have been crazy for you.
It was pretty crazy. But we got through it. I made it. I was very tired over the last couple days because I was working a lot, but it's good now. It's my days off. I honestly had one of the most productive days off I've had in a long, long time.
Hell yeah.
Because my ass is not productive usually.
Nope.
Thank you for that. Had some delicious fried eggs over rice this morning. Have we talked about that yet on the podcast? I don't know that we have. We talk about it constantly between you and me, but have we ever mentioned on the pod how obsessed we are with fried eggs over rice? Anyway, doesn't matter.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Then I did my homework for this episode, watched and wrote the recap, and then I edited a little certain something special that should be coming up, or with our release schedule might be already released very soon.
No. We're keeping that in the back pocket till after.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair enough. So be on the lookout for that. It had been a hot minute since old Scotty boy had done any editing for the pod. But I spent a good chunk of the day on that as well. So yeah, very productive day, which is not
good
normal
for you, man.
For my ass.
That's so different for you, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
you should know.
Very different. Thank you, pal. Thank you. You don't sound proud, but I'll believe you.
Yeah, we're gonna move on from that. So we know that you guys are dying to hear what we have to say here about the finale, Season 8, Episode 6, The Iron Throne. And we will get there.
Mm-hmm.
But in our usual fashion, we need to remind you, this is the last episode of Game of Thrones, which means that we've got a lot to discuss after this episode recap.
Yes.
So rather than making you guys sit through a 4-hour-long episode, well, I don't know.
We would never do that.
Yeah, this isn't the Snape chapter in Harry Potter. Okay? Rather than making you guys sit through a 4-hour-long episode, we will do business as usual on this. We might have a little fun discussion at the end, but we need to remind you guys to please send in any comments, hot takes, series recap, series overall thoughts. You want to call us out on some bullshit we said back in Season 2 or Season 5 or whatever, any of that fun stuff. Shoot us an email at wedon'twantapod@gmail.com. Or, wait, not at we don't want to pod. Just we don't want to pod at gmail.com. Or shoot us a DM at we don't want to pod on social media. You know, just things in places.
We don't want to pod at gmail.com. That's we don't want to pod at gmail.com. The rule of 3, Zach. You got to get it to stick in people's heads.
You're right. And if you're one of our YouTube subscribers and or watchers, feel free to leave a comment. We'll be going through those as well. Interact, guys. We want to have a conversation with you guys because as much as Scott and I love talking with each other, we don't. We want to talk with you guys. So, let us know what you guys think, and we will be discussing kind of a roundtable type discussion, although it's just going to be the two of us. I mean, roundtable as in you guys will be submitting your stuff and we'll be pulling from it.
The smallest roundtable in history.
Yeah, it's like I was gonna make a joke. I don't know where I was gonna go.
Okay,
but do that thing.
Good one.
So we can respond to your messages. We have a bunch of great submissions already in the DMs and an email. So thank you if you've already done that. But if you haven't, it's your last chance because this thing is going up very soon. So do the damn thing.
To Zach, what Zach's saying, this will not be a series recap episode. Like, we will talk about this episode and maybe a little bit of Season 8 as a whole, but I'm sure it will go plenty long without talking about the series as a whole. So
it's the only thing that goes plenty long. If you know
yes, indeed, in wholes respectively. So yeah, send us in that stuff because I know we're going to have plenty of talk about, but I really am curious, especially after all the hot takes me and Zach have had about Season 8 in particular. I want to know. I want to know where people stand, if we have changed any minds, or if, let us have it and tell us what idiots we are. So, are you ready to jump in, Zachy boy?
I'm ready to do the thing, man.
Let's fucking do the thing. Start us off, pal.
We begin with Jon, Davos, and Tyrion walking through the decimated streets of King's Landing. Tyrion goes to the Red Keep alone. Jon tries to stop Grey Worm from executing some Lannister prisoners.
Hi, Murphy.
Yeah, we've got some doggy noises. I'm going to start that over. Okay. I'm going to cut that out. We begin with Jon, Davos, and Tyrion walking through the decimated streets of King's Landing. Tyrion goes to the Red Keep alone. Jon tries to stop Grey Worm from executing some Lannister prisoners, but Davos convinces Jon to relent and go speak to Daenerys when it escalates to violence. Tyrion finds Cersei and Jaime's bodies buried under the rubble and weeps. Daenerys speaks to her armies and tells them that she's not stopping at 7 kingdoms, that they will not stop until they have liberated all the people of the world, all of the orphans in the world.
Is that a Nacho Libre reference?
You fucking damn right it was.
Hell yeah.
I hate all of the orphans. Tyrion goes to her and she tells him that he committed treason when he freed his brother. Tyrion admits to it, but counters that she slaughtered a city and throws away his hand badge. Daenerys has him arrested. Jon tells Arya to wait for him outside the city, but Arya says that Daenerys will always view him as a threat and that Sansa will not accept Daenerys' rule. Jon goes to see Tyrion and they chat about his past sins and the afterlife. Tyrion says that Daenerys won't stop until she rules the world, that she killed more people in a day than his father and sister ever did. They have an incredible conversation where Tyrion tries to convince Jon to kill Daenerys, but Jon continues to say that she is his queen. Daenerys finally gets to touch the Iron Throne in the half-ruined throne room when Jon comes in. Jon is very upset about what is happening and tearfully pleads with her to forgive Tyrion and show mercy. She says that she knows what is good and right, and that only they get to choose what it is. Jon tells her that she is his queen for always, then stabs her as they kiss. Daenerys dies in his arms. Drogon shows up and is like, "Hey, what the hell, my guy? I let you in here and everything." Then he melts the shit out of the Iron Throne, picks up Daenerys' body, and flies off across the sea.
Some time passes, and Tyrion is brought out to the dragon pit where all the remaining lords and important people are gathered. Sansa wants to know why Jon wasn't brought as well, and Grey Worm says that this is our city and we decide what to do with our prisoners. Yara wants the Unsullied to execute Jon, and Davos has to play peacemaker as usual. Tyrion says that Jon's fate should be for the king or queen to decide, and that they should pick a new one. Grey Worm agrees to this, and the time has finally come for my dude, my favorite dope Edmure, goddamn Tully, to make his play. After Sansa quickly shoots Edmure down, Sam suggests perhaps a democracy, which gets more laughs than Edmure did. They ask Tyrion what he thinks, and he says what truly unites us is stories. And Bran has the best story. Sure, pal. He says that the new kings should be chosen by the lords and ladies of the realm instead of being born. Bran agrees, then the rest say aye, except for Sansa. She says the North will remain independent from the Six Kingdoms, and Yara is like, shit, I should have done that too. King Bran's first act is to punish Tyrion by making him his hand. Tyrion and Grey Worm are not pleased. Tyrion visits Jon in prison and tells him that he is being sent to the Night's Watch in order to prevent a war between the Northmen and the Unsullied. Jon wants to know if what he did was right, and Tyrion says to ask him again in 10 years. Thanks for that stellar comfort there, bud. Jon, Sansa, Arya, and Bran share tearful goodbyes as he leaves for the Wall, and goddamn it, do I love the North theme.
Dude.
Brienne becomes Lord Commander of the Kingsguard and writes some very nice things about Jaime in the White Book. Podrick is now also in the Kingsguard. Grey Worm and Unsullied sail for Nath. Sam becomes the new Grand Maester, Bronn the Master of Coin, and Davos the Master of Ships and Grammar. Arya leaves on a ship to explore west of Westeros. Sansa takes her crown as Queen of the North, and Jon leaves Castle Black with Ghost, Tormund, and the rest of the free folk going back beyond the Wall. And that is it. Not of just this episode, but of the entire series of Game of Thrones. I tried to keep this recap kind of short and to the point because I feel like it's probably just
I think you did a good job
to talk about these things. Thanks, pal.
Yeah, you did a good job with the recap, bud.
Good. More jokes in the second half because there are just more jokes to be made in the second half.
That's true. I think it's mostly one thing in the second half, really.
That's me. Yes.
Yeah,
yes. We'll get there. Let's not
We'll get there.
Get ahead of ourselves, but I think I kind of agree. This opening segment is very well done. Like, just the so quiet, no music, extremely somber, gray, walking through King's Landing as like snow and ash comes down.
Really, the only sounds you hear are the crunching of the ground as they're walking through.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the burnt man stumble by, which is a horrifying scene.
Yeah, very. Wow.
You hear the sobbing of somebody sitting off to the side, which it's done really beautiful. It's a powerful scene. Powerful scene.
Yes.
I'm glad you liked it because I felt very strongly about it.
I loved it. It just like you can see just how distraught Jon and Tyrion are, especially too, because it's like this is who they have backed, and now they have to kind of live with those consequences and what that all entails. And I loved the just somber silence of it. I thought the first part of this episode was just phenomenal. Up to and especially including, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but when Tyrion, goes into the Red Keep. We can talk about that now if you want. I didn't have much to say about the Jon and Davos and Grey Worm thing. Did you?
No, it's no, really my note was also the exchange between Jon, Davos, and Grey Worm. Pretty intense. Didn't hate it, didn't love it. It just was.
Yeah. No, for sure. So yeah, the very first time we get music in this episode is when Tyrion finds his siblings' bodies. And we get the very mournful rendition of Reigns of Castamere as Tyrion just breaks down. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of a better way. I mean, we talked about it last episode about how we liked, for the most part, where Cersei and Jaime ended up and the ending.
Yeah.
But I think this, especially with Tyrion, you can call it like, sure, it's probably maybe a little ridiculous that he was able to get in there and find their bodies. But I think it works for me just because, like, obviously Peter Dinklage kills it with the emotion, as he is known to do. And it's just a good ending for this kind of family,
Yeah. So like from a story perspective, the beats of what's happening, I subscribe to completely. I do take some issue with like the lack of, I think, thoughtfulness of reality in a show that takes so much pride in being like, we show things how they are,
Sure.
like first off, like Tyrion being down there in the first place, that's very convenient.
Yeah.
But still, it could still simply be, and I could subscribe to this, I can suspend disbelief. Like, he could be down there because he knows, like, this is where he told Jaime to go.
That's what I was saying. He did tell Jaime to take that route. So that's, I'm sure, what he was going there to look for.
The one thing, and this is, again, look, I want you to know, Scott, and I want everybody listening and watching to know, I understand that this is a minor detail.
Yeah.
So it's something that I shouldn't be so passionate about. But I'm equally calling people out because a lot of people are very passionate about this, and it's like, it doesn't deserve that much hate, but I'm still going to call it out to be objective here. I don't love the fact that he picks up one stone, basically, and is like, oh, there are these bodies.
Fully uncovered now. Yeah. Nah,
yeah,
listen,
like it's...
I totally get that.
Like the hand poking through, cool. I can see that. Like that could happen, holding your, as the building's falling on you. That's one thing, but yeah, the dude, I think I could be exaggerating here, but I'm pretty certain he removes a stone and sees Cersei's face.
Right.
I'm
so,
just strange.
Yeah, no, listen, I can see why people would have quibbles with this, but to me, it's just so, it just doesn't matter. To have Tyrion get that closure is so much more important to me, is from a storytelling perspective, because you could have spent 5 minutes and watched him, dig through the rubble to get here, but we didn't really need to see that. Like, it wouldn't add anything, in my opinion. And, like if this was like a book medium, for example, you could say those things in like a couple sentences of like, you know, like Tyrion dug for the rubble for an hour or what have you, you know, to find his siblings' bodies,
right.
you know. But this is the finale. We kind of need to move things along. And I think the emotional payoff that you get with this just far outweighs any small, like suspension of disbelief, you know, I have to do to.
I agree. I agree completely.
I do wish that they had maybe looked a little bit more beat up. It sounds a little morbid, but it's also just like the way they
it's
look.
Game of Thrones, dude.
Right. They look a little too clean. It's like, come on, you guys can walk that off. Just like, you know, you'll be all right. Anyway, I again,
just rub some dirt on it.
Rub some dirt on it. They got plenty of that down there. Again, I can't give enough praise to Peter Dinklage's performance as usual. He brings that emotion. And then it's Daenerys, right? She's
So it's Jon walking up the steps to the Red Keep, and also like imagery here, great scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's shot well.
Yes, it is.
There are some things in this episode that look beautiful.
Yes. One specific thing later I want to really call out.
Okay. And I found myself, this is really unfortunate, like the way that I think the Game of Thrones community has, I think, fogged maybe my vision a little bit. Mm-hmm. I found myself rolling my eyes a lot and then having to check myself and be like, wait, there's nothing the matter with this. And I don't have like a specific example that, you know, that like happened here at this particular scene or anything like that, but
I do have one.
Do you? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So, because I've heard people bring this up before as like, this is so stupid. And I agree. I think Arya tells Jon, I know a killer when I see one, about Daenerys after she just burned an entire city. It's like, yeah, okay. Thanks, Arya, for that. We really needed that. Yeah. That's a dumb line. I wish it hadn't have been there. Criticism accepted. That's real dumb. She should have left it as, because first she says will always view you as a threat.
Right.
And it should have just left it there, but then she had to add I know a killer when I see one. Gee, thanks, Arya. Yeah, that's a dumb line. Wish it wasn't in there. Does not ruin the entire series for me, though. You know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest. I don't know that I feel that strongly about that. I kind of like. I kind of liked. But I actually, it's actually in my notes that I liked that
really
exchange. Yeah, it is. Just, we don't have a lot of that happen between you and I.
I thought that line was pretty dumb.
I mean, shit. Well, let's talk about it. So, like, I think for me, it was more of an Arya and Jon interaction, not so much a telling the audience that Daenerys is a killer.
No, for sure.
It's like, hey, like, just because she's reached her goal does not mean that she's done killing. That's the message that I took from her.
Okay, I can shake to that. I'll see that.
And like, hey, you guys have won, but like, she's not done. Right. You know, like, and you're in danger. And when you're dead, because it will come to that, Sansa will not bend the knee to her.
Right.
You know, like that's how I interpreted that exchange, and I really liked it.
Right. And that's the important part that I did really like, is that she gets across to Jon, hey, she will always view you as a threat. She knows who you are, who you really are.
Right.
And also Sansa will not stop either. So that part of it, yes. And I'll shake to that. And I can see where you're coming from with the whole like, hey, she's not done type scenario. So yeah, all right, I'll shake to that.
But man, beautiful imagery.
Yeah.
I've never been a Targaryen dragon, like, the dragon stuff can be a little corny to me.
Mm-hmm.
But man, seeing Dany with Drogon's wings,
it's super
spreading
cool
out behind her, just a gorgeous shot.
I mean,
really just a cool shot. And whoever thought of that shot, give them a raise. They did did a hell of a job. It was a great idea, and it worked. I wanted to ask you...
A little on the nose for the moment, but I'm here for it.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
it's like, the black, almost devilish-looking wings coming out from behind her.
Sure.
But I'm here for it.
It's art, man.
I'm here for the imagery, for sure.
Yes, yeah. And I like that.
Yeah.
It is... You know what? Hold on. Last thing I'll say on this. For Game of Thrones, you're right. It is a little on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
So it may feel a little out of place. But objectively, what it is a good shot.
It's a cool shot. It's a cool shot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, how do you feel? How do you feel about Dany's speech here to the Dothraki and what the fuck are they called? The Unsullied.
The Unsullied. I don't know. I think.
Like, was it a good scene? Was it
like I don't have anything in particular wrong with the scene. I do feel like it's a little bit coming out of nowhere that she wants to now suddenly like conquer the entire world. Yeah, liberate the whole world. That seems a little bit out of left field. And I suppose I just have to contribute that to her kind of her breaking, in the last couple episodes, like her, kind of mental well-being, if you will. And to kind of follow up on that, I kind of wish this is going to be super weird, but see if you can stay with me. When did she have time to clean up after the battle? Because during the battle, when she was riding Drogon and starting to burn everything, she looked like super ragged and like unhinged. And now she's kind of like back to looking normal. And I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of feel like I wish she still looked... Sorry, I was going to come across as so crazy. I wish that she was still looked like she was losing her mind a bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because then I could believe
that.
This... her wanting to liberate the entire world a little bit more.
You know how I perceived it? That's a decent call out. And I don't think I entirely disagree.
Okay.
But I'll share with you how I took it and see if that helps. So this isn't a B. I can't believe I'm making this analogy here.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay, so like picture getting into a really bad fight with a crazy girlfriend or a crazy boyfriend.
Sure.
And it's ugly. It's an ugly fight. And then, but they're like a little psycho. Like they're like they got the crazy eyes. Like from How I Met Your Mother, they've got the crazy eyes.
They do have crazy eyes.
And then you make up, and everything's suddenly all better. And they're just like fucking psycho crazy, like in control, and just like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like almost like
so.
Like that crazy perfection type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, everything's great.
Yeah,
everything's better,
sweet, honey. Yeah.
And that's how I kind of take her, especially when we get the Jon and Dany scene later in Throne Room.
For
like,
sure. There,
I feel that.
I see what you're saying. Yes.
And I think this is like that's just kind of how I viewed it in this. But one of the other things that I think attributed to me feeling, I think I overall like that. The more I'm talking about it, I think I overall like this. But
okay.
To me, like her saying that she's going to liberate everything, it feels a little like, you know how when you finish a really big project, like a really important thing to you, like probably when you finish like one of your big Lego builds or something,
sure.
And you're just like, fuck, what comes, like, what do I do now?
Sure,
like, what's next?
Okay. Yeah.
Like I feel like her entire life has just been built on this like drive and ride to claim what was hers, but she's never been able to get. And now she's there, and she's like,
well, now
I don't know what to do with myself now.
I totally
that's kind
feel
of how
that. And that's the other thing I was going to bring up is like, especially considering how she lost her best friend in Missandei. And she also, like last episode we saw, she feel like at this point, she must feel like she's lost Jon or is on her way to losing Jon at the very least. So what does she need to stick around King's Landing for and rule? Like, yeah, like, well, I need to be doing something. What do I do? I liberate. Let's go liberate the world. So from that angle, I do buy it. Like I said, it feels a little bit out of left field, but I'm not against it, and I can see where it can come from. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost, man, okay, I'm glad we're having this conversation. It's almost like she has thought that she's wanted to rule Westeros.
Sure.
And now that she has it, there's this like, oh man, this would have been really cool to explore if there had been another episode or two, you know, like,
yeah,
maybe this isn't what I wanted. Maybe what I truly like is conquering. You know what I mean? Like coming into who you are, right? Like, I am a conqueror, and having that like that realization. You know what I'm saying? Or like what? I don't know.
No, I do know what you're saying. The one thing that I will say when people criticize season 8 that I think I do agree with is that things move too quickly, and not in a, you know, everyone's teleporting around way of just like, hey, would it have helped what this exact discussion we're having now if there had maybe been a scene where Daenerys talked about these things or thought these things of like
that would have been brilliant.
Right. And I also, after our discussion on the last episode, I did have a thought later where I was like, you know, I loved the scene between Arya and the Hound, like their kind of goodbye, but there was something kind of, nagging me about it. I was like, I feel like there's something missing. And I realized I wish we could have got a scene somewhere between them leaving Winterfell and getting to King's Landing where they actually talk about it a bit more, where, you know, the Hound maybe says
that would have been great.
Something to the effect of like, you know, are you sure you want to devote your entire life to vengeance or something like that, you know, kind of, so we don't go directly from them leaving Winterfell, her saying, I'm going to kill the queen. And then they're at, you know, the part to kill the queen. And he's like, hey, you don't want to be this. Get out of here. I do feel like there probably should have been a scene in between there where they discuss that a little more. And if people want to say, you know, season 8 moved too fast, there wasn't enough of those types of things, like also what we're talking here with Daenerys, I will shake to that criticism for sure. Because that is something that I have been thinking about. But what is there is good for the most part. So yeah, I think, like I said, I think I can see where she's coming from. But yes, I will also agree, hey, maybe we shouldn't have to extrapolate that out ourselves and make those reads. You know, maybe the show should have told us, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair way to look at it.
Yeah.
What we're seeing is not bad, but having a little more for context would be very much appreciated.
Because that's
probably great scenes too.
Right. Because that's what this show has done so well for so long also, you know, giving the context behind everything, you know, so.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyway, still not like a bad scene by any means.
Oh, yeah, no.
But what is, I think, easily... Oh, well, okay, hold on. First, the Tyrion and Daenerys, where Tyrion confronts her. What did you think about this?
I mean, I liked it. It was straight to the point. It was... I mean, I think Tyrion... Peter Dinklage sold it. Like, yeah. I mean, I think it was his scene. I did like him throwing away the hand of the king or hand of the queen, excuse me. Like brooch or whatever it is.
Not denying that he freed his brother either.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess I honestly didn't really think too much about it. Was there something specific you wanted to call out? Or
before we moved on, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I think probably quite easily my favorite scene of the episode was this next scene between Jon and Tyrion. And my biggest thought was just that I wish there was a way we could have got more Tyrion Jon scenes. Because
I'd agree to that, yeah.
As much as we have clowned on Tyrion these past couple seasons, deservedly so, is there another character that has more good pairings than him? Like where we say, oh, every time Varys and Tyrion are in a scene together, it's gold. Every time Tyrion and Jaime are in a scene together, it's gold. Every time Tyrion and Cersei, you know. And here I am thinking like, fuck, we need a more Tyrion and Jon scenes. Like,
yeah. That's a good call out. Yeah, I mean that's a good accolade to give him.
He's so good in so many different situations, and I adored this scene. You know, Tyrion talking about like how, you know, all the terrible things that he's done.
I hate to do this. I do need to interrupt you because of the format here. I want, as you talk through your thoughts, I want you to know something about my observation of this scene.
Okay, hit me.
I like what happens in this scene, but for some reason, and maybe you can sell me, maybe you can convince me I'm an idiot.
Okay.
For some reason, I felt like a lot of the acting in this exchange felt really forced.
Really?
I did not think that Jon and Tyrion were super believable. Like it... And I don't know if this is like some kind of weird, like shitty fog that like people have thrown on me through the internet. But there was just something that seemed like this should be really heavy and really deep, but it just didn't work. Like it just didn't land. It didn't seem that heavy.
That's interesting. No, I don't know that I have anything in particular to like rebut what you're saying. I just really enjoyed the conversation the two of them had, and I bought it.
I didn't hate the dialogue. I didn't hate what was happening between the two.
Sure.
Didn't hate the direction of the conversation, anything like that. In fact, I mean, hate isn't even a word I would use to describe any of this. It just, for me, it felt it was like lackluster. Like this is what I was actually thinking. I was thinking Kit Harington and Peter Dinklage did not love what was happening here, so they didn't believe it. That's how I felt. That's how I felt this played out. I mean, I could be totally
in
full
this
of shit.
early one, because I could kind of see what you're saying more in the later Jon and Tyrion scene, but not this one.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
It really could just be a fog of...
I don't know.
Hey,
but maybe
look,
I'm the
I'm
one
not
with...
saying there's... I mean...
Maybe I'm the one with rose-colored glasses. Because I tell you what, like, there was a part in the middle of the scene that I really, really liked where Tyrion was like, you know, basically like they had like kind of their preamble talks, and then Tyrion's really starting to hit hard on the like, hey, you're the only one that can do this. Like, you have to stop her now. And Jon like turns around, and I thought, oh, he's going to just walk out on that. He's going to leave. But instead, he just turns around, goes to the stool, and like just kind of sits down like very heavily. And it's like, I really enjoyed that because it was like, oh, he knows he kind of needs to hear these things, and
he's battling
very hard because he feels like maybe he should let Tyrion try and convince him, but it is not anything he wants to do or have anything to do with. So it is weighing very heavily on him, and all the poor dude can do is just take a fucking seat because he is like just so heavy with like the emotion of this all. And I really enjoyed like that particular part of it.
I mean, that's a really good call out. I mean, yeah, I hadn't really, I guess, watched it like that. I mean, that is a great choice, whether it was direction or, you know, Kit's decision to do that. But I don't know. I really could not put my finger on what specifically made me feel that way. It was just something I felt in this scene. and I was going to say, and one other later, but you already said it, the other one between them.
That one
which is strange for me to feel because I love these two together.
Yeah.
But either way.
I think we'll just have to agree to disagree on that one because I enjoyed the hell out of it. But yeah, so then
that doesn't happen often. But I mean,
no,
shit.
It's true.
I'm curious. You know, I want to know. Am I being an idiot here? Does Scott have rose-colored glasses? Like, you guys let us know. Yeah, let us know.
This like the half collapsed Iron Throne room with the snow coming looks incredible.
It truly does. So
good. I can't remember if it's right before we see Daenerys interacting with the Iron Throne or right after, but when oh fuck no, hold on, I'm sorry, I have to go back. You derailed me so hard with your because I'm genuinely surprised with what you said about that scene. I have a couple things I did want to call out specifically about the Tyrion and Jon scene. Tyrion at one point has a quote where he says, "Love is more powerful than reason. We all know that. Look at my brother." And I'm like, God damn it, that's a great fucking line. And also for anyone that wants to complain about Jaime and his story and where he ended up, it's like, there it is.
Well, you go. No, you're right. That is. I do actually have a line that I forgot to mention. I'll wait because you said you had a couple.
Oh, well, the other thing, I can't remember exactly the line, but I have in all caps here in my notes. Shouts to Maester Aemon, the fucking goat. And now I remember it was where Jon said love is the death of duty, right? And Tyrion is like,
Tyrion's like, did you
just come up with that? Yeah. And he tells him, no, Maester Aemon told me that a long time ago. And I'm pretty sure that was in The Boy.
That was Kill the Boy.
Right.
Yeah. That was in Kill the Boy.
God, Maester Aemon fucking ruled, dude. I don't know how you disliked this conversation. I really don't.
I don't even think I would go as far as saying disliked.
Sure.
Like, just something was a little unbelievable about their acting. I felt like I just wasn't. To me, it felt like the actors were not bought into what they were acting.
Okay, hey,
that's all.
You do you.
If I like another great way to say this is that if I was to read exactly what happened on page in a book, I think I would adore this scene because like I didn't hate any of the mechanical aspects of what happened here.
Sure.
I enjoyed them.
All right.
It was just, yeah.
What was your quote?
Everywhere she goes, evil men die and we cheer her for it. And she grows more powerful and more sure that she is good and right.
Yeah.
Very good line from Tyrion. Because you and I have done this thing where we've called out Daenerys doing bad things. Right.
Sure.
And, I mean, we've called out her doing good things as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think the thing that we haven't called out is how much praise she's received from her subordinates and from her, from everybody around her for doing those things that are still inherently good, but through violent acts.
Yes.
And that can fuck somebody up, man.
Yes.
Like that truly can fuck somebody up. Who's already got a screw loose, especially.
Right. No, for sure. And it was, I did have several thoughts about that as well, because when Tyrion says like, yeah, and everyone around her, told her it was great when she, burned the slavers of Astapor and, when she crucified the masters of Marine and all this.
Men.
They were evil men and all this. And I did think very briefly, I was like, hey, shouts to our fucking dude, who did try and stop her from crucifying the Myronese maesters was fucking Barristan Selmy. And he fucking knew firsthand what it was like to watch a Targaryen monarch, slowly lose control. Descend into the madness. And he told her, not this way. This is not the way you do these things. So
God,
every once in a while there was someone that tried to help her along the way, but also to Tyrion's point is there was a lot of, hey, you know what? Good job, Daenerys. You're doing good things here. And again, it's just the methods at which she is going about them are not always good. And I think that is a very good observation from Tyrion.
Yeah, man. Okay.
Have I turned you on this scene?
No, again,
I know what you're saying.
The context of the scene is still gorgeous. But I think one of my biggest... You know what? I'm going to save this for the end of the episode.
Okay, all right, save it. Drogon coming out of the snow looks sick as hell.
Oh yeah, it reminded me of like a video game or something, like a video game cutscene. Like it looks so cool.
It looks so cool, and then just the very wide shot of Drogon like staring at Jon, and then letting him pass. Like that scene looked super cool.
Are you becoming a fan of the dragons, my guy? Because you've liked a lot of dragon scenes lately.
I know. That looked cool. The half-ruined throne room, which is like the snow and the ash coming in. Everything. Say what you will about the things that happened and, the writing or whatever, but I don't think anyone can deny that this show has continued to look and be shot extremely well through this season. Like, I don't know how anyone can objectively, like, deny that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree completely. Like this is one of the best looking seasons of Game of Thrones.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree completely. But that does not make things good, but it enhances the good that was there already.
For sure. Daenerys in the throne room. What say ye?
Scott, I mean I like this as well.
I liked it. I did not love it.
Okay, who first?
You go. I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay. What I truly loved. So I had to almost like look at this in a slightly different perspective than we've been looking for and looking forward to Daenerys' scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Because you and I have both really, really appreciated the Dany scenes recently where she's kind of like broken down and like extremely vulnerable.
Yeah. Showing more emotion than she ever has.
Right. And we've also commended Emilia Clarke's acting depicting those scenes, which all of this holds true. And in this, I kind of appreciated it for a different reason. Like, I prefer watching Daenerys scenes where she's like that. Don't get me wrong. But kind of the analogy I made earlier about the crazy eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything's good now.
When you brought that up, this is what I thought of.
Emilia Clarke did such a good job, like, depicting that. And although I don't love this version of Daenerys, I can still see it be a very complicated and like it's just like still a very broken character trying to hold it together and save face and pretend like everything's good and move forward. And I thought she crushed. I thought it was very good. And then
she did.
The cherry on top for me is how absolutely tragic Jon looks throughout this entire scene. He is broken, dude.
That's what I was gonna say. I think my favorite part of the scene is just the juxtaposition between her with her crazy eyes, as you say, like kind of very happily, putting on a front, putting on a facade.
Yes.
She starts the scene by trying to like wax nostalgic with Jon, like, oh, when I could barely count to 20. And Jon is just like not having it. He immediately just jumps into, you slaughtered children. And like, there are tears in his eyes. He is like breathing heavily, like he is barely holding it together.
He is begging to be proven wrong. He is like begging, looking for, he's like, please, 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 please prove me wrong, because I don't know if I know what I must do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
Truly.
Like, I feel like that's what's happening, and I think it's brilliant. I loved it.
I would, definitely. Like I said, my favorite thing about this scene is the performances of the two and how they kind of are on opposite ends of the spectrum. I will say the reason I said I didn't love it, the one thing I was thinking about as I was watching it, it was like, it seemed to happen very quickly. Like, I feel like Jon made his decision after, what did she say? Like, well, we're the ones who make the decision of what is good and right.
That, I don't know. I see. Okay. See, I like this.
You like that? Okay.
Oh, I did.
It just seemed like he made his decision of what he had to do, and then he did it like very quickly. That was the one thing.
Okay. No. This is good. I love this conversation, by the way, Scott. For me, Tyrion basically gives him the keys to making this decision. He's like, look, this is what's going to happen. This is what's happened in the past. She thinks that she is just. She thinks she's basically God at this point, right? She knows what's good and wrong. And
then, yeah.
And it's that is that is the decision maker. He like, cause he hears what she's saying, and he's like, okay, so what happens when they think they're doing good?
Right.
She's like, well, they don't get to decide that, or what? I'm paraphrasing. Obviously, I don't have the exact quote.
And he's like,
but she's
decides?
like, well, they don't decide that. Like, we do.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that is exactly what Tyrion was saying.
That is exactly what Tyrion said. Yeah, that's true.
And he's like, this is it. And also, I think that there's an element that we haven't really talked about, but like, Jon is in full shock. I mean, this, like,
oh, for sure,
making a rash decision like this, although I believe it to be the right decision, but a heavy, like, I guess, like, kingdom changing decision like this, done through thoughtfulness is one thing, but I think he's just acting out of it's an emotional response to the shock that he's in.
Right. Oh, for sure.
So I don't know. For me, it worked. I mean, everything after him killing, I have questions about, and we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But their conversation and him killing her, I thought was so much better this time around than the first time watching this.
See, listen, I agree with almost pretty much everything you're saying. It did feel like, and I kind of like what you're saying about how, just him realizing she's saying exactly what Tyrion said she would, and just realizing he has to do it, and he has to do it now. It just, as I was watching it, I didn't fully buy in the how short amount of time there was between her saying, okay, well, we decide, and then, hey, kissy kissy stab. It was just like, that seems like a little quick, but also I get what you're saying about like Jon is in shock, and he kind of just has to pull the trigger, so to speak.
The other side to that too is, like, if he doesn't do it now, then he enters this realm of something that would just be not true to Jon's character, because then it turns into, now he schemes to kill her. Now he plots to kill her, and that is not a Jon characteristic.
Jon is a man of action, yeah, for sure.
So,
Drogon melts the throne. It's like, fine, whatever, symbology, whatever. I don't care. Why does he?
Look, hey, let's give the people out there, the people who feel so negative, let's give them some credit where it's due.
Do people feel super negatively about this specifically?
Yes, dude.
Well, I was gonna say, where I do think is super dumb is when he picks up her body and flies off with it. I did not remember that happening.
You didn't?
No, like when his little claw goes around her, I was like, what's happening? I don't remember any of this. I think I banished that from memory, because that's dumb. That didn't need to happen.
So many people, because of that, Scott, think that she's like being revived by red priestesses in the East. I
totally forgot this happened.
Could totally be a story if they wanted to make it. It'd be bad, but
I don't have anything like super against him melting the throne, but it sounds like you and other people do.
I just think that it's
whatever.
They somebody was like, hey, symbology, let's have Drogon melt the stone, the throne.
Yeah, no, that definitely happened. That definitely happened.
Let's have him get really mad at Jon, and instead of killing Jon, he melts the throne, because he knows what this inanimate object is, apparently.
He knows Jon is a Targaryen and fire cannot kill a dragon, so he knows he's powerless against Jon.
Dude.
So he melts the only other thing in the room that he can.
They're not fireproof, dude.
No. Fire cannot kill a dragon. Listen, if people want to be upset about that and think that's stupid, it's fine. I didn't have. It is kind of dumb, dude.
It is. It's just kind of like it doesn't need to be there.
It sure, but also like it's kind of cool that it's just like, I don't know. I think him picking up the body and flying away with it, that was dumb. Like that was what I had way bigger a problem with. I was like, that just didn't need to happen.
They were like, hey, we have like $30,000 extra in our budget for pyro. You think we can melt this thing?
True. If we don't use up that budget, we won't get it. We won't get it next year. That's how budgets work.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I think the symbolism of the throne being removed or even being burned, I think is fine and cool. But like that could have been, man. Okay, hold on. That could have been a brand decision as king. That could have been a, hey, I don't like what this represents. Look, I don't subscribe to the whole brand king thing. Let me put that out there now.
We'll get to that.
But like that could have been an action that brand takes to actually do something, to actually be something that like interacts with the world. You know what I
mean? No, listen, you're not wrong. We should get to that because we have already, we are well into this episode. I feel like we still have a ton to talk about.
I feel like the end of this is going to go cool.
It might. It'll go one of two ways. We'll go very quickly or very long. So the Dragon Pit. We're back here at your favorite location, the Dragon Pit. Dragon Pit from wish.com. So, okay. I don't even know where to begin with this, Zach. Help me out here.
Okay. Well, Tyrion gets removed from his holding chamber.
Right. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
And gets taken to the Dragon Pit. Because somebody felt he was important enough.
Yeah.
As a prisoner.
Listen,
to
he's
be
more
a part of this
important
conversation
than man 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sure, who are just some randos that say I at the end there. Like one dude looks like he's from Dorne. I have no idea who the other fuckers are, but it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, can I say...
Hit me. Yes. Say whatever you want to fucking say.
Fix this scene by removing Grey Worm.
Ooh. Well, I don't know if you can fix it just solely by that, but...
Improve.
Yeah, there you go.
Improve this scene. Okay, I don't hate the concept of like, oh shit, the Unsullied and
Northmen are going to go to war.
No. The Unsullied and oh my fucking god,
Grey
the horse people.
Oh, Dothraki.
The Dothraki. Jesus, how many seasons have we been doing this?
Too many fucking seasons.
That's why. The Unsullied and the Dothraki kind of are holding the Red Keep right now, like almost hostage in a way, and I kind of like that. I think that's kind of cool.
And they're holding Jon hostage, basically.
So I guess like having Grey Worm be there as their person makes sense in theory. But man, have I ever just talked about how like I just don't like Grey Worm?
Yeah,
like Grey Worm is the fucking most vanilla ass, boring. Like
I mean, that is literally what he was supposed to be.
I mean, I know, but it doesn't make for good television. Like I don't give a shit what the intent was. It doesn't make for good television.
Okay, fine, fair enough. Regardless, we need to get to actually what matters here. I think Tyrion's idea of, hey, the line of succession and people being entitled to the throne just because they were born into it is bullshit, and we should have a king's moot, if you will, every time we need to choose a new king. An entmoot, yeah. Is a decent idea in theory. You might get more wars out of that. But okay. I'm 100% here for my dude, my favorite dope Edmure, fucking making his play.
the subtle,
shot,
like him going.
Yes. As I was just about the shot from the side of him like building up his courage, like fucking my time has finally arrived, is maybe the best thing in the entire series. It's so good. And Sansa just, uncle, just sit the fuck down. What are you doing? You're embarrassing me. Is very funny. Also, them just laughing off Sam's idea of democracy. Haha, very funny. Also, good.
I didn't like that. Maybe it's because I love Sam, but
yeah, listen, it was whatever.
It was just so like what is this, a sitcom?
Yeah, no.
Like,
it was way too sitcom-y. I was just about to say that. It was way
like,
too sitcom-y.
All quiet.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
It wasn't great.
Fucking
the Edmure scene
bags.
was legitimately great. That was not great.
Yes.
Then Tyrion is like, hey, you know what unites us? Stories. You know who has the best story? Bran.
Who does stories unite? I'm curious.
This is the worst part of season 8.
Boy Scouts at a campfire? Like
this right here. What are we fucking doing?
Absolutely.
This is it. This is what I always come back to in my mind of like, well, what did I actually remember disliking? And it's this. And I still don't like it.
Yeah, I agree. Can I don't know if this is better served for the end of the episode, but I think I'm just going to say it here.
Okay, say it.
If people make the decision on the entirety of the show based off of who becomes king at the end, king or queen at the end, you miss the point of the show.
I agree entirely, completely.
Like, that is not the point.
And yet I've talked to so many people who do exactly that.
And it's like, maybe you should just stick to watching fucking Law and Order or something. Like, you fucking
watch fucking
idiots,
young
dude.
Sheldon, you fucking commons.
Truly, dude. Fuck.
No, okay, listen. I actually, you know what I was thinking about when I watched this? I was like, I think there is a path where you could make them making Bran king like doable, but this ain't it. Like if Tyrion had just been like, hey, Bran has like magic all-seeing powers, so he could probably rule very effectively. Like that I think I could buy way more than this fucking bullshit. Like why did they go with this? Like I don't love that Bran is the king. I'm just saying if they really wanted to make that work, I think there is a path to do it, but this ain't it.
This ain't it. Yeah, I agree with that. He still makes way more sense to be like fucking master of whisperers or like
True. He is all of the whisperers.
He's literally you want somebody that can tell you what's going on?
No, truly.
This motherfucker.
Truly.
So, I don't know. Like I don't love that he becomes the king in the end. Like literally the one thing that works about this is that there's never been, like, because of his character build now, there's never been a more Switzerland character, right?
Yeah,
like
true.
He's the epitome of neutral.
A more Switzerland. I love that
He's
phrasing.
the epitome of neutral.
Yes.
And that's not a bad idea to have on the throne.
True. What you're saying is true. I also just want to say I love Sansa here. I love that she's like, you're my brother and I love you and that's cool that you're king and all, but the North's going to be independent. And I'm going to rule
You ain't
that
my
shit.
king though.
Yeah, you ain't not not my king. I'm going to be independent and I'm going to be the queen. So screw you guys. I'm going home. And I'm just like, hell yeah, Sansa. Like, that's great. And I also love the shot. It just specifically cuts to Yara and there's a look on her face of like, fucking shit. That's such a good idea. I already said though. Fuck.
Yeah.
Why
no
did
takes
I say
backsies.
Yeah, no take backsies, Yara. I think before this episode aired, I think I was of the opinion that they're just gonna fracture the Seven Kingdoms. Everyone's gonna kind of, the Targaryens are gone. It was the Targaryens that united them. Everything's gonna fracture and everyone's just gonna have their own ruling. And I'm still kind of on board for that idea. I still feel like that would have been the most natural ending here, because the only real person, again, I think there is a way to get there with Bran, but the real candid is in prison and not present in this scene.
Right.
And man, the Jon problem, do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to save that till the end? Just like how he fits into all this and where he ends up.
I mean, we can talk about it now.
I was watching it this time. I was like, this is dumb. Jon should be here and Jon should be king. Or the other thing I was thinking of is, at the very least, he should be the one to make the decision that he's not going to be king, rather than it just being forced upon him. That was what I was thinking. And then we get to the moments when when Tyrion tells him, and he's leaving, and he's arriving back at the wall. And I caught myself thinking, like, this actually does kind of feel like
right
Jon.
For Jon. That's how I feel.
Does feel right for Jon, because he is always just so reluctant, and he's not like a super active character, to be honest. He is yanked along, by his destiny, or his, the natural love that people have for him, whatever you want to say it is. This kind of works for him.
And I feel like a huge piece of his story that always stands out to me is that Jon really found himself
in the North,
and began to truly in the true North, and beyond the wall, beyond the wall with Ygritte and Tormund and then obviously the Night's Watch. I don't know. I think that I just think that it's right. Also, like, there's all the parallels that can be drawn between the Stark children and their direwolves, and it's like there's the scene where he sends Ghost north, and it's like that's where you belong, and it's like, I mean, that's also where you belong.
Yeah, true.
I really don't dislike Jon living out the rest of his days
beyond the wall,
a life sentence to go be a free person beyond the wall. I love that, by the way.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
They're like, man, we sure got Grey Worm on that one, huh?
Yeah, truly.
But I really, I mean, dude, really, it is simply the meeting. Like, the meeting that takes place does not work.
Yeah.
It's not believable. Bran becoming the king, you're absolutely right. There is a way that we could get there, but they did not put in the work. No. And I will criticize that always.
Who are all these random fuckers that are suddenly on board with Bran being king? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Like, why would Yara ever say I there? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, sorry, continue.
Yeah, it doesn't. And especially because, like, these people don't know what Bran is. Like, Tyrion says it like they're supposed to know what the fuck the three-eyed raven is.
Yeah, truly.
Like, they have no idea. And they're just like, okay, yeah, sure.
They've all been chatting. They're in the chat room. Like, you're not part of that group text? They're all part of that group text.
Yeah, it's like, clearly people love cripples in this lore, in this world.
True.
They're like, oh, fuck yeah, we're behind that. Like,
yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah,
it doesn't work for me. This is bad inherently in all ways because they just simply did not put in the work to make it make sense.
Agreed.
Okay. And most of the other issues that people tend to have with season 8, the work is put in, it's there, and it pays off beautifully. This does not.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and then Bran makes Tyrion his hand, which this I have no problem with. I think that's about the only way that could have ended up. And yeah, we alluded to this earlier. I'm assuming you don't love this scene between Tyrion and Jon, and the second scene where Jon is now in prison and Tyrion is visiting him.
My only note on this scene is, who is this man cosplaying Jon? Jon does not look good in this scene.
No, he doesn't. Real quick, I have to take one step back because I missed a note. When they get to the end of the meeting and Sansa says her whole thing about how the North will remain independent, there's a shot of Arya looking at Sansa and smiling. And it's so funny, dude. I was like, what the fuck is with this look on Arya's face? She looks so strange. She's like, it's like, hilarious. I don't know what face. You do need to pull it up. I don't know what face my girl Arya is making, but it is hilarious. Anyway, yeah, this scene where Tyrion visits Jon, like, Jon is obviously still broken up and he just wants to know if he did the right thing. And Tyrion is like, hey, I know I talked you into that and all, but I'm not going to give you any reassurance or comfort about it. Sorry, my guy. I'm like, come on, Tyrion. Don't do that to poor Jon. And then, yeah, the North theme coming in clutch, of course. I was moved by the goodbyes here between the Starks. That theme does its job, and I feel like this was,
the ending of this episode is good. Like, the end of this episode is beautiful.
After it's literally just the dragon pit stuff.
It's just the dragon pit. Yeah.
Yeah, their goodbyes are very good. Are you still looking up?
I am.
This Arya, okay. I think everybody, all the wrap-ups for all our characters are appropriate and earned, and I'm totally fine. Brienne being the Lord Commander of the King's Guard, perfect, great, love it. Her writing the things about Jaime in the White Book, perfect, love it. Sam being the Grand Maester, sure. He's not even a maester, but sure. Bronn, Master of Coin, hell yeah, that's my guy. And Davos, Master of Ships, all great. I think that is this whole scene, the small council scene, I'm like, this is a perfectly fine. Right. This feels right. This is a fine and adequate send off.
And then
for
Bran
all
walks
these characters,
or rolls in.
Well, the gag about Tyrion not being mentioned in the book is like funny, but also then part of me is just like, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, how could you not mention him? He was the hand of like I think it's just two, but he was the hand of the king of several of these monarchs. Like, what are we doing here? But it is a funny bit. So.
Scott, did you, while I was trying to get signed in and I failed to do so I can't fucking, it's just a nightmare.
Don't worry about it later.
Did you talk about Brienne writing in Jaime's?
Yes, I did.
You did? Did I just say,
You did, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about that, pal? just a little bit? You have the floor, my guy. You have the fucking floor.
So two things here. One, there's a cool... Man, I really hope you didn't... Actually, it would be great if you said this.
I hope I said the exact same thing.
There's a very cool little piece of lore in this.
Oh.
I mean, it's just like a name, but when Brienne is writing in the book about Jaime, the battle that everybody calls the Field of Fire 2.0,
right? Gold.
It's actually officially titled. It's called the Battle of the Gold Road.
Yeah,
did you know that?
I did notice that. I did. I noticed it this time watching.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had no idea that's what it was called, but that's cool. That's a cool name.
Was that all you really had to get that in there?
No. Well, there's two things. Okay. It's just my note on this section. And then the second thing is just that I may have to start giving Brienne a little bit more respect in terms of characters that I care about and love in this series.
Sure.
I've never thought Brienne is a bad character, but I have, and you can listen to it. You can listen to me saying this.
Wait, did you just say I've never thought Brienne was a bad character, but I have?
No. But I have said.
Oh, sorry.
And you can listen to me say this on the podcast. I have repeatedly said that I think she's boring.
Yeah, no, you've definitely said that.
And there definitely is like an element of like you're just too noble, and it's not nuanced, and it's not like what's the word here? Like she doesn't struggle with enough, I think. Like she's not a broken character, which I think is also discrediting her backstory, and which isn't fair either. But there is an element of like she is the overly noble person, which generally tends to be kind of like the prudish,
a little bit
boring
of
character,
a boring archetype. Yeah.
Right. But I have also kind of checked myself in the fact that like so many Brienne scenes constantly were like, man, that's a good scene. It's heavy. It's a beautiful scene. This or that, you know. And
mostly
and I just
her and
wanted
Jamie.
Sure, right. Well, and even her stuff with Pod too is good.
Sure.
But I just wanted to call attention to her in a way forgiving Jamie and still loving him and filling out his section of the book.
Yeah.
Not in a shameful way towards Jamie is just a truly beautiful character moment for Brienne.
I agree. It shows her strength of character a lot.
Oh my God, it really does. Like it actually, like, I mean, I wasn't like crying, but it made me a little emotional. I was like, man, that's just so good. Like, so yeah, I think I just in general need to give a little bit more credit to Brienne because she does have such a strong character. And yeah, it's just nice sometimes.
You know what? You're right. And I think what it is like, I think Brienne is just so hit or miss. Like I felt this way about her chapters in the books as well, or maybe she's just in one book. I can't remember. Even her point of view chapters, it's like they're either extremely interesting and exciting or they're the most boring chapters that are happening. It's just like, get back to other stuff.
Sure.
And I feel like she almost follows that to a T in the show too, where it's like, I don't care about Brienne right now. Move on. Let's get to something else. Or, oh, this is a really phenomenal, great scene. So no, for sure. A little bit hit or miss, but she is a good character. And I think where she ends and this scene is very, very good. And then, did you have any, I know you were just yes-anding me before. So did you have anything else to say about this final small council meeting?
Just the small council ending with Tyrion saying, I once brought a jackass and a honeycomb into a brothel. I fucking hate that shit, but it was so funny.
I was about to say, I was like, there we go with the sitcom, like cue the laugh track again.
Oh, that's
like,
okay. Very true.
Okay,
that's fair.
That. The last sequence though, where it's cutting between our three Starks that we like, Arya, Sansa, and Jon, I thought was phenomenally well done.
Oh my God, it was
pretty
beautiful.
Much every second of that. And yeah, like I said, I think midway through the episode, I was like not liking what was happening with Jon. I was just like feeling like he should be here. He should make the choice to not be king, blah, blah, blah. But by the end, where he ended up, I was like, no, this feels right. This is right for Jon.
They could have done the real sitcom thing and it end on a freeze frame of him like his arm around Tormund, like, and it's just a freeze frame and the credits start rolling. Like Jon and Tormund lived out the rest
high five in slow motion.
Fuck, dude.
Truly.
Yeah, man, I really like Jon's ending. I love Sansa becoming Queen of the North. Also, by the way, shouts out to her fucking costuming.
Her fit? Dude, her fit crazy.
God, dude. Yeah. That fucking drip is insane, dude.
I don't know. Arya's not really a sailor, so I don't know about her plan, but we'll go past that for now.
I mean, she's got sailors with her.
I suppose, yeah. She's got sailors with her.
Yeah, I mean, that's how rich people sail, right?
Yes, absolutely, for sure.
You're not a sailor, but you have sailors, so.
I was so happy to see Ghost, my little one-eared ghost again, and John's little tender moment with him. Probably the worst CGI in the show's history when he's like petting him. I was like, oh, that scene didn't look great.
Look good.
They used up all the budget.
They should have moved the pyro budget from the throne to the
I was just about to say, they used up all the budget on Drogon burning the throne. But still a tender moment. You know I love Ghosty Boy.
Ghost.
I think where I ended, I was like, yeah, this feels right for.
Was that not a good pun? Fuck
sure.
you, Scott.
Van Ghost, no, it wasn't. I was trying to let you get away with it. He's oh yeah, true. Okay, all right. I didn't catch that.
Ass.
No, yeah, I always forget about. That's good. Van Ghost. Okay, I'll shake to that. I'm sorry. I wasn't familiar with your game, Zach. Dude. I'm sorry, I wasn't familiar with your game.
You son of a bitch.
Anything else you have to say about this episode in particular?
We're going to talk about this a lot more in our series recap.
Yeah.
But the last thing I want to say about this episode is that y'all need to fucking chill about how bad this episode and or season
especially.
Season especially.
Go watch us talk about last episode 5. That episode go crazy, and I don't care what y'all say.
Yeah.
That is a very good episode of television that is earned in every way. And I will hear no more about, well, actually, we will hear a lot about it if people want to, hey, send us a comment.
Good segue, Scott.
Thank you.
Is it time?
I think it's time, pal.
Oh, I'm not going to like this.
I don't know where we even begin to approach this. This is, that's not the right one. That's appropriate that I clicked on the wrong one for the final episode. This is
in true fashion.
Final Who Be Thrown In.
I don't know if
I had an idea if we wanted to do like a character tournament, because I love tournaments. We could actually just use the points as like seedings of the Who Be Thrown In for the entire show. Or we could do something else.
Not a bad idea.
It doesn't matter. All right, where we last left off at the end of episode 5, Daenerys Stormborn Targaryen had taken the top spot with what I believe was one of her strongest episodes. 2 was my dude Sandor. Oh, I missed him this episode. He was gone forever, but he had taken down his brother. Tyrion, very strong episode at 3. Varys, of course, going out like a boss at 4, and Jaime also going out like a boss. Wow, 3 people that went out like bosses. Jaime was at 5. So Jaime's gone. So yeah, 3 of these were, well, I guess Jaime was technically present in this episode. But I don't think any of them are going to make the list. Jaime and Varys. I'll get there. All right. Tyrion, I think, has a case, despite what he did and said about Bran. Daenerys probably has a case. I don't know. Where's your head at here? What are you thinking?
I think she has a case. I think we'll talk about it, but I think she has a case.
I think she has a case.
John has a case.
John absolutely is gonna make this list.
Sansa
will 100% make this list, or there will be heck to pay. Bran is. Oh yeah, where are you, my little Bran muffin? Here we go. There he is. There's my little Bran muffin. There he is in all his glory. For the audio only listeners, which is most of you, I feel sorry you can't see Bran in his in all his glory here. Who else are you thinking? What about like the people who made it onto the small council and are ruling on high? That's your Brons, your Davoses, your Sams. How do we feel about them? Oh, you feel that strongly? Okay.
I think I feel stronger about High Lord Extra number 3 sitting there at the council.
Listen, fair enough. Well, let me throw this out there. How do you feel about Arya?
I feel good about Arya.
She doesn't do a ton in this episode, but like sure.
No, but I will tell you, and I didn't say this, and I should have, but her goodbye to Jon was my favorite scene of this episode.
Oh, really? Favorite?
Yeah,
wow.
My favorite scene of this episode. It had me emotional. Oh man, she's so good. Maisie Williams is so good. She's
excellent. You know who kind of got done dirty this episode? Like he was part of the whole King's Moot, but my dude Gendry, like did he have a single line aside from which everyone got that line? They kind of did the Lord of Storm's End dirty, I feel like. Anyway. Okay. I think this is all the contenders. There's a lot of these people that are just dead. I'm going through the list here. Dead. Okay. I feel performance-wise most strongly about Tyrion this episode.
Interesting. Okay.
I think if we're going by who be thrown in, like who is making the most plays standards, I feel like that is Sansa is the number one.
Yeah, I think I think she's going to be pretty high on this list, but I don't think man, I feel like Jon's performance was
I really loved him in the scene with Tyrion. And you kind of talked me into liking his scene with Daenerys more and more. And I did come around with where he ended up. But as you kind of pointed out, who is this Jon cosplayer in the one scene?
Yeah, okay.
I don't think I viewed it that harshly, but I think Jon should be very high.
I think I just convinced myself on Tyrion. I mean, even though I didn't love his scene with Jon, or his acting specifically, but like, it is still a good scene.
He also has the worst part of this episode, though.
Well, he does, but if we're also giving merit to people making moves and like making plays, it is literally him that basically picks the new king.
And he kind of is running the realm because Bran ain't doing shit.
And now he's the hand of the king. So like,
are we Tyrion at 1 then?
That's such an odd choice for the end here, but yeah, fuck it.
The way you kind of just talked about it, I think I agree with you. I cannot believe it, but I think I do.
Well, all right, fine. I don't know, dude. Jon killed Dany this episode. He saved the realm.
I could see it being Jon. Hold the phone. I think I'm more on board with Jon because I really loved almost all of his scenes, with the lone exception being the second jail scene. And I didn't think it was that bad. And he saves the realm, and he truly kind of feels like he ends up where he belongs at the end.
Do it.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Yeah, that felt like you were talking me into it, but it felt a little strange putting Tyrion there.
Yes.
Okay, Jon.
So what do you think? Tyrion Sansa or Sansa Tyrion?
Sansa definitely has like the probably biggest win. Like she became Queen of the North. Like she kind of got everything she wanted. But she also just didn't do much for me. She sits Edmure
down, which is hilarious.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was great.
And she do be looking real good in her new Queen of the North garb.
I think I still lean Tyrion. I think that
I do. I agree. I still lean Tyrion and then Sansa. This is kind of how I'm looking at it.
All right. I will shake to that. So Tyrion goes 2, Sansa goes 3. All right. I'm going to pull down my small council. I just wanted to give them a shout out. Shouts to Davos, shouts to Sam, and shouts to Bronn.
Democracy.
I love all 3 of you. You're 3 of my favorite characters in this show. You will be number 1 in my heart forever. I think our true contenders for these last two spots are Arya, Bran, and Daenerys.
My vote
and Ghost.
Is,
I can't forget Ghost. Let's get him up there.
My vote is Bran then Daenerys. Even though Arya held my favorite scene of the episode.
Yeah, you were the one that was... Arya had your favorite episode. Yeah, I don't think Arya makes the list.
Yeah.
So you think Bran then Daenerys?
I could go either way, if you feel stronger one way or the other.
What do you say to Ghost and then Daenerys?
I mean...
the other thing I was gonna say is I was real sad as Jon was getting led back to Castle Black. I was like, man, Ed should have lived. Like, he could be here, be the Lord Commander, and like it would be better. But then after I thought about it more, I was like, no, but then I'd be sad that Jon was leaving him to go north and leaving him alone at Castle Black. So maybe it's, I don't know. I miss Ed. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
All right. I think I feel stronger about
Dany.
Daenerys. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all right with that.
As crazy as that is.
I mean, she's got better scenes for sure.
She gets killed by her lover in this episode, but she has just great scenes for the most part.
Yeah.
And I think you honestly talked me into liking her scene with Jon more than I did originally. So
good.
All right.
I know better than you.
Bran goes 5. I guess he became king or whatever. And that's it. That's our final Who Be Throning. Jon is going to take the top spot. Tyrion at 2, Sansa at 3, Daenerys at 4, and Bran making his triumphant return. I'm pretty sure he has not been on a list in ages. That feels right for a final 5.
It does feel right. Especially for a finale.
Yes, I like where that ended up. I really do. All right, Zach, what are you going to rate this episode? This is actually genuinely very tough. I have a rating in my head. I don't know how I feel about it, though.
I have a rating in my head also. I think that there's a lot more good in this episode than there is bad. However, the bad does stand out. It makes a lot more noise for me than the good does.
Sure. I see what you mean by that.
And it unfortunately has the role of what you remember of this episode as well.
Yes.
Which I think...
It was the only thing I remembered about this episode.
Right. I mean, well, mostly, yeah. But
right, yeah.
I think I'm going to give this a 7.
I had in my head 7.5 after what you said about the main thing remembering. No, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it at 7.5 because there was a lot of things I liked. I don't remember specifically liking as much as I did. Like, I loved the way the first scene was, like, just the tone, the atmosphere. A lot of the way this episode looked and was shot, I think, was incredible. And there was some really good scenes and conversations. Really, my one just major criticism is obviously what we talked about with Tyrion and the Bran thing. But again, I think there's a way to get there. They just didn't do it the right way. I think I'm going to stick with 7.5.
I think that's fair.
And that's our final rating, too. Wow. Now we just have to go back and rate all of them all over again.
Hold on. Maybe I have another rating for you.
Okay.
We're done.
We are.
Rate the series as a whole.
Oh, Lord. Not just the series as a whole. Oh, shoot. That's hard. We have to save that.
Okay.
Or do you want to do it right now?
What about the season? You want to rate the season?
That's what I was going to say. Do you want to rank the seasons? Or do we want to save that?
I mean, that's easy. I think that's easy for me.
Okay, then let me hear yours.
So for me, I think it's season 4, season 6,
okay,
season 2,
You've lost me already.
Oh man, 2 has Blackwater at the end. No, okay. All right. For me, it's 4, 6, 3, 2.
Yeah, you lost me even further.
1, 5, 7. Oh no, wait. I left out 8.
Yeah, you left out 8. Oh, mister, it's easy for me. Do you want me to go
8,
so you can...
5, 7.
Okay. I have been thinking about this for a while. Do I do it? No, okay.
Are you going to be controversial and say this is your favorite season?
No.
Okay.
I have forever said that season 4 is the best season, but the more I have thought about it, there is another season that I have loved more and more and more, and I'm tempted to put it above it, but I won't. Season 4 goes 1. Then season 1. I think season 1 is masterful, miraculous work, what they did with it. 4, 1. Then this is where it gets tough.
Yeah, the middle of the pack seasons are tough to rank because they are all good in their own ways.
I think I go 4, 1, 2. Man, where do I pick 8? Because I liked 8 way more than I expected to. 4, 1, 2. Oh, and I forgot about 6. Oof,
6 ends with Winds of Winter, man.
These are all honestly very close together. 4 and 1 are kind of separate from the pack. 4, 1, 2. 6, 8. No. Sorry. 8, 6, 3, 5, 7. 7 is far and away the worst. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Season 8 ruined Game of Thrones. No, season 7 almost ruined Game of Thrones. 8 rescued it.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. Take us out of here. We'll do other shenanigans
later.
We'll do
a lot more of that. Yeah. Guys, this was a kind of a long episode. How long are we running right now?
A long time. An hour and a half at least.
That's not too bad. We've been known to go longer. Guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. If you guys are new here, please consider hitting the subscribe button, like the video, share the podcast with your friend or your grandma. This is a podcast for grandmas, in case you forgot.
Grandmas. Yeah.
And just a friendly reminder, please be sure to submit any conversation you guys would like to have us or would like for us to have with us, or that you would like for us to flush out with each other on our next episode and series recap. We'll do some fun games there, rankings, which is always a good time, and have some friendly conversation with you guys. So please be sure to DM us at We Don't Want a Pod on Instagram or Twitter, or you can shoot us an email, which is wedon'twantapod@gmail.com. And if you're in the Discord, you can just shoot us a DM in the Discord as well. That'll work just as good, however you want to send it. Thank you again. We will see you guys next time for one of the last Game of Thrones episodes we'll do.
We're not saying how many we're doing. We're keeping that in our back pocket, you cheeky bastards, you.